Hey again, I'm back with another theory, and this time it's got to do with one of the most beloved shows in all of anime, Naruto. The Naruto anime came out in 2002, and at the time of recording this, it's 2021. By my calculations, that's almost 20 years, so why a theory on a show that's already been completed and has wrapped up everything that needs to be wrapped up? Well, because I never watched it. Yes, I never watched it, and trust me, I was told continuously that I have to watch it. It's like a rite of passage that I had to complete before I truly became a fan of anime. And after like 7 years of putting it off, I started it. I'm just over halfway finished with the series and have had plenty of good thoughts on it, as well as some negative thoughts, filler. But anyway, back to the main point of the video. I'm going to be proving that Uzumaki Naruto, the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, the Datebayo King himself, and primary lover boy of Sakura, actually in fact does not care about Sakura at all. I'm actually going to take it one step further and explain why Naruto not only doesn't give two shits about her, but instead wants her dead. We can trace Naruto's hidden disgust for Sakura all the way back to when they were all kids on Team 10 and going on missions with Kakashi. Most people who watched the first Naruto would say that Naruto was in love with Sakura and Sakura was madly in love with Sasuke. It was like a love triangle that wasn't really a triangle because Sasuke was acting like an edgelord e-boy at the time, but nonetheless, the main thing is everyone knew that Naruto loves Sakura. The only issue with that statement is that it's a surface level claim that comes with only focusing on what we the viewers are presented with. The creators want us to think that Naruto loves Sakura through things like Naruto blushing around Sakura and trying to act all tough around her. But again, that's only what we the viewers are presented with, and it's not what I call peeling back the layers of what we're watching. If you peel back the layers on all the times Naruto was trying to impress Sakura and get her recognition and appreciation, there was always another factor that was present when Naruto would do those things, and that factor was Uchiha Sasuke. Who was Naruto always competing with as a kid? Who was the one that Naruto strived to catch up to and secretly look up to? It was all Sasuke. Naruto wasn't trying to compete with Sasuke to beat him and get Sakura's attention. He didn't care about her at all. He fought with Sasuke to get the admiration and respect of Sasuke. If you think about it rationally, it makes sense. Sasuke and Naruto have so much in common, and if you analyze the chemistry between these two throughout Naruto and even Shippuden, you can see that they both had an unexplainable affection and desire for each other. It's just the way they showed this affection was through fighting and trying to kill each other, but even when they hated each other, it was clear to see the sexual tension they had between them. But Sakura always felt out of place to be in the original Naruto. Whenever she was on screen with either Naruto or Sasuke, she felt like a third wheel, a hindrance to the developing relationship of Naruto and Sasuke. Even though they were kids, you could see that there was a clear rift between Sakura and the rest of the Team 10 Chunin. The fact that Sakura had both of her parents and Naruto and Sasuke's were dead, experiencing a completely different childhood to Naruto and Sasuke was a primary reason as to why she was the odd one out. While Sakura was eating ice cream with her parents and enjoying her childhood, Sasuke was staring off into a river, contemplating murder at the age of 12 years old. While Sakura was picking flowers with Ino and making friends, Naruto was living alone and forced to make friends with a talking ostrich. Not only were Naruto and Sakura complete opposites, but Naruto was also trying to ignore her flaunting her loving and alive parents. However, at this point of Naruto's life, his impression of Sakura was at a mere annoyance. It wasn't until a certain repetition of events occurred that led to Naruto harboring a festering hatred towards her. It didn't take long for Sakura to turn from an annoying ass bitch to an abomination of a human being in the eyes of Naruto. The last straw was when Sakura would start punching Naruto for no reason out of nowhere. There were so many situations that were either misunderstandings or were not needed to be continued further, but Sakura thought she was the deliverer of justice for some reason and decided that Naruto should get beat up by her for things that he couldn't even control. Someone called Sakura ugly? Let's beat up Naruto. Oh, Sasuke called Sakura an annoyance and Naruto tries to console her? Let's beat up Naruto. You gotta think of this from Naruto's perspective. He's somebody who's grown up being resented by his whole village by this fox spirit thing he has no idea about. He's forced to be in a team with a pink-haired spoiled little brat and an unsociable school shooter type of kid who hates everything. Now he has to put up with this pink-haired lunatic treating him like a punching bag. Naruto has morals. He's not somebody who's going to attack a woman, and furthermore, his image throughout the village being ruined is already a negative one, and he has no intentions of adding woman abuser to his resume either. So he's forced to maintain these feelings of utter loathing and bitterness within him. The only reason Naruto was able to survive his emotions bursting out and going on a rampage were because of people in his life like Iruka sensei, who were always there to support him early on in his life. Naruto is a literal embodiment of the phrase that looks can be deceiving. We see him as a courageous, fearless, and wears his heart on his sleeve kind of person, but sometimes we're blind to the fact of how smart he really is. We're talking about someone who was able to defeat one of the strongest and most experienced fighters during the Chunin exam, Neji, by outsmarting him on the battlefield. He's not only incredibly intelligent when it comes to fighting, but also when it comes to strategizing, which brings us to his ultimate plot, to kill Sakura. Naruto, ever since he was a child, was slowly waiting and biding his time, while also simultaneously devising a mental blueprint that he could use to execute Sakura. He knew that this would take time and would need to be flawless, so that when Sakura is dead, there is no suspicion of him ever being involved with her death. So we now come back to the present, or at least what I'm up to in the show, where the allied shinobi forces have been created and the 4th Great Ninja War is underway. I'm almost certain that Naruto is gonna unleash his plan to kill Sakura in this war for 2 main reasons. The first being that due to the nature of the war, there will be many lives lost, and there already have been from what I've seen so far. Naruto can use this as a perfect setting to destroy Sakura and list her as just another casualty in the war. The second reason is that Naruto, who now at this point has been able to control the Nine Tails chakra to a certain extent, which can take away his whole life force if not taken care of properly, is able to unleash the full brunt of his power and lead to his primary way of killing Sakura. He can fire off a massive Rasengan that will destroy all living things within a certain radius. During the final showdown with Uchiha Madara, Naruto would most likely struggle with taking Madara down and would need some kind of assistance. This is where he would call in Sakura to heal his ass up with her medical ninjutsu. But when Sakura comes to heal him, she will see that he's perfectly fine and doesn't need her help, which would confuse her. It's then that Naruto would power up his Nine Tails chakra and fire off a final Rasengan to destroy both Sakura and Madara. What Naruto is effectively doing is killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Madara, seeing Naruto involve Sakura in that attack, would cause him to be utterly confused and let his guard down momentarily, which would give enough time for Naruto's attack to also take out Madara and not give him enough time to use his teleportation jutsu. Not only does Naruto get the chance to take out the enemy of the shinobi world and save the day, but simultaneously also get rid of an enemy he's thoroughly despised since he was a kid. Now, when Naruto returns to his headquarters and announces Madara as dead, he can also tearfully exclaim that Madara took Sakura away from him and he wasn't able to save her. Nobody would ever suspect Naruto. Not only would he be comforted by his other fellow shinobi for losing a long-time friend, but would once again be lauded and worshipped for defeating Madara. Uzumaki Naruto is a character that is universally loved throughout the anime and our own real-life world, but you might just see him in a different light after this video. I wholeheartedly believe that this could be a possibility in the anime, and I'd be pretty disappointed if this wasn't the case. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and understood where I was coming from. Thanks for watching.